Evening, welcome to my channel. I'm trying to write and record an album from my shed with the help of friends, and I am on episode 22, and this is a friend's song actually that I'm helping to kind of do some instrument and some arrangement stuff on, and it is called Weezils. So yeah, you may have seen, if you've watched any of the podcasts I've been doing, we talked about this song. In fact, it's in the title of the podcast because I was just kind of thinking at the time. And so James has, I think, started on this 4 weeks ago, something like that. Wrote the guitar part, sent me a little video. He since has got his Mac sort of in and set up and done. So this is the first project he's been working on in Logic. So he's able to send me just the Logic project. So I've got the drum parts, natural vocal, a horn part, which is pretty fucking cool, a couple of guitar parts, and so 3 guitar parts, and a keyboard, like a synth bass. He wants rid of the synth bass completely, and I've been working on a bass line for that, which I've got some stuff, actually I might include in this video. So the bass line was really strong immediately off the bat. There's a hook in it. Part of the problem with it is after the hook it doesn't do anything really. So to be fair, I'm not really, well, I'm starting to do a bit more. To begin with, I was getting just a decent sound by playing essentially the same thing that the synth bass played, with a bit more feel and, you know, the actual sound of the guitar just adding its, you know, its flavour. And that, I was quite happy with it, to be honest. I have, however, started putting something slightly more sophisticated on some of the changes, which hopefully sort of articulate good elements. And what else? I've also sort of tentatively written sort of a part for the bridge. At the moment, the version James has sent me is 2 choruses, two verses, 2 choruses, and a bridge. There is the intention of adding a 3rd verse to that. So, but I don't know if he's got the words written yet or doesn't, but he certainly has only recorded the 2 verses. So at the moment, I'm working with 3/4 of the song. Anyway, but I've written a guitar part for the bridge, like I said. Now, the other thing that he's asked me to do, which is kind of what I'm planning on doing this evening, is taking the guitar parts. He's essentially been wanting to fuck around with that. There's an Arctic Monkeys track that has the I can't remember. It's not You Look Good on the Dance Floor, but it's from the first album. Anyway, so he's kind of done that throughout with the guitar. It's got a really nice, the guitar part itself, the chord changes are really good. But what he's done with this is he has sort of cut it up, which, you know, works just as well. So there's no, sorry, I'm getting distracted. So there's no acoustic guitar part in this, and I don't think there's an intention to be an acoustic guitar part. So what he would like is for these 2 guitar parts to be replicated, but with some decent sounds from the katana and any pedals that I want to use. At the moment, I'm just learning the guitar parts. I'm at the moment learning the acoustic part, just to get that kind of ingrained in my mind, so I can do this guitar. Sorry, I'm not sure why I'm getting so distracted. What am I trying to think about? Yeah, that's what. Okay, so I would love to do exactly what James has done on here and do the part exactly the same. I don't think he cares one way or the other. He'd like this is something he wants to keep, an element he wants to keep in the song, and I can very easily just use the guitar parts that he's got in there, and I can add whenever I want to them, to make them sound good with, you know, an amp modeler. So that's one way I could do it. The other way I could do it is, and which I think I'm going to try this evening, is to try and record something as close as possible to what he's played, but obviously with me playing it, and then using the sounds from the pedal board, or the katana, to create. What he's really concerned about is creating enough differentiation in the guitar sounds that it feels like it is two separate guitars rather than one. At the moment, the way he's recorded is he's just used the front and back pickup of the neck and bridge pickup of the telly to get two different sounds. Used the same amp sound except on the little lead part that he's done, where he's created like the graphic, it looks like some kind of Marshall emulation, and then the other two parts are on like a telly. A Fender amp of some sort. Anyway, all that to be said, I think I can probably. So like, I will try and play the same. James and I are very different guitar players. I mean, that's true to say that pretty much any guitar players, especially people who've been doing it for a while. But you know, there's so many things about my playing that are ingrained in. I find it actually really difficult to do these really just syncopated kind of parts, you know, with just the, what do you call that, the stabs. I tend to always, my right arm just wants to add that, you know, or something at some point, and I find it really hard to just stick to it. Now that said, I've done it in the past. I can certainly train myself to do it. It's not like it's beyond me to do. It's just, you know, when I start playing something, you have to get comfortable in that part before you can kind of break your own rules, if that makes sense. So I'm going to try and play it, like I say, get as close as I can to it to begin with, then just let happen what happens. See if I can keep the syncopation. If I can't keep the syncopation, maybe I'll go down the route of playing around with the sounds that he's already got in there, and my guitar probably would be something that's just added in or not. But anyway, that's kind of going to be the process. So I think I'll probably include some of the bass performance in this, and a bit of the guitar as well once I get somewhere with it. So the tune's awesome. And it's kind of odd at the moment. Like, James hasn't had a chance to work on any of my stuff so far, so I'm in that kind of weird place at the moment that I'm getting really excited when I get projects from him to work on, because it's kind of fresh. I don't have to do any of the thinking in some respects. Like, the structure is there for me, so I can just play and fuck around. And this is kind of a selfish thing to say, but probably also very true to say. I'm not in a position right now at the moment where I'm getting that the validation back from him that the tracks are things that he wants to work on, and therefore, you know, I know that project is going to move forward. And at the same time, if that is the case, that the work should be done because it seems like a valid project to work on, then I'm not seeing any of the results of that back either. So those projects aren't moving forward. And that's not to say for a second that that's a responsibility that is outside of my control. I could, you know, if I really wanted to move those projects forward, I would just bring them back and I would move them forward. So it's not to say that I'm passing on the responsibility for them either. It's just that kind of the bartering nature of what's hopefully going to be happening going forward is not yet commenced. So it's kind of, we're getting there. But so yeah, back to the bass. There's a part that James has adapted from the acoustic video he originally sent me and turned it into the sort of bass line itself, which is kind of a and that's in the introduction of the song. Excuse me. And I really like it. It's awesome. I struggled at first very much to then try and transpose that same kind of movement into the to the rest of the verse. The chorus not so much, because the chorus just sort of hits whereas the verse is where the complexity is really, in my eyes anyway, viewing it back. So yeah, it was kind of an interesting thing, and I think I'm getting somewhere with it, because the chord changes are quick enough in the verse that I think the rhythms and drive is there already with just a small amount of variation. I suppose what I was worried about at the start was that I wouldn't be fast enough, because learning this, and learning this for me was a little tricky, and to get the consistency on it. In fact, it's fair to say it's still not there. In fact, but so trying and put that motion through the rest of the song, I wasn't sure that I would be able to do it. But actually, the chord changes, and I suppose this is a reflection actually of the acoustic part that James originally wrote that he stole the bass line from. Like the chord change, I say steal, it's his own thing he can't steal from himself, but you know what I mean. The original structure of the song had that built into it. I'm just really copying what that I then am getting from that and just finding the right notes. So that's true. And then just trying to put some kind of, I want to try and add some discordance, enough to drag the ear away, and then some resolve to bring it back again, right? I want to be able to do that. So that's been my sort of building process for this. And I guess, so I've done some of the work that I wanted to, but I've ended up getting into one of those loops that kind of occurs in that I've got a bass part, I can use it. I've got a guitar part, I can use it. It's a copy of the guitar part James did, but with my stuff on it. I've played around with amp sounds on one of his guitar parts to try and sort of make the contrast there. Gone round the houses on that, played the guitar like 15 takes, all on headphones. Went on a loop on headphones. Now listening to it on speakers, and I just don't know if I've ruined it. I've tried to put back all of the stuff that I took off. It still doesn't sound as good as it did in the past. So I don't know exactly where to go at this point, but, well, you'll see the results soon. So, see how that goes, eh? Cheers.